Giabariko. Hello to everybody watching. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite films, Queen of Katwe. Queen of Katwe is a 2016 American biographical sports drama film directed by Mira Nair and written by William Wheeler, starring David Oyelowo, Lupita Nyong'o, and Medina Nalwanga. The film depicts the life of Fiona Mutesi, a girl living in Katwe, a slum of Kampala, the capital of Uganda. This story is one of a girl who is born in the slums and really has nothing to her name besides selling maize, selling corn. That's what her and her family do. There is some backstory as to why that is, but basically that's her lot in life. She doesn't really see anything outside of that for her future until she finds chess, until she finds this game that provides a kind of a map for her freedom, a roadway out of her current situation. And one of the themes of the movie is that the game can solve all of your problems. You can use the game to solve your problems, and she actually takes that to heart and begins to really see the game as her way out. And so, of course, like with anything, it's not easy. There are obstacles in her way, her current life status, her age and maturity at times, even her pride gets in the way of her success. And so I think there's a lot of ways that this film showcases the theme of perseverance, because none of that deters her, none of that keeps her from ultimately becoming champion. Spoiler alert, she becomes champion at one point. And I think this is a really cool concept and really cool story to tell. It's just fun to see people overcome. Another reason I love this movie so much is the visceral and simplistic direction in which it was shot. It's not like a Zack Snyder film where it's like, you know, a bunch of, you know, slow-mo shots, a lot of depth of field. Like, it's not super crazy looking in terms of like the visual effects, but it feels real. There aren't a lot of frills done with the cinematography. Yes, there's color grading, and yes, there are certain shots that are standard for films that are used here, but a lot of the shots you can tell are handheld, and you can actually have the POV shots where it cuts away to a character looking at something, and then the camera mimics what the character's eyes are doing. That to me always feels real because it puts you in the place of the character, and there are a lot of moments this film in fact does that, and does it expertly. It doesn't do it just randomly, but it does it when it wants you to pay attention to what the character's paying attention to. And there are again also some really nice wide shots of the surrounding area, and again, Africa is a beautiful continent, and Uganda, and even some other scenes that they show of Africa, they do a really good job at really setting the scene and immersing you in where the story is taking place. I think this is really well done. And even some of the action scenes, there are some action scenes in this movie, and when those are done, again, you can tell the person behind the camera knows what they're doing. So shout out to whoever the DP on this film was. They did their thing with this. The lesson I believe that I took from this film is you don't have to be born great to pursue greatness. There's a scene where one of her teammates, Gloria is her name, who helps initially teach her the game of chess. She mentions why she loves the game, and she says the small one can become the big one. And I think that is what kind of initially, helps to motivate Fiona to really pursue chess, is she has that same desire to go from her small insignificant-ish situation and become something big, something great, and that motivates her, and that kind of pulls her into the game of chess even more. And I think that's a story universally that we all can take something from. We all want to be significant in some way. We all want to be great in some way, purposeful in some way. And the lesson here that you don't have to be born great. You don't have to be born, into notoriety to become something purposeful. I think that is a beautiful lesson for those who come from relatively nothing but have something inside of them to do more. And so I think that that's an awesome lesson that anybody can really take and kind of use to make their lives better or to pursue better. Now, because I am who I am, I had to find a Bible connection here, and it wasn't really that hard. There's actually a really strong emotional center point that this movie hinges on, which is pride. There is the theme of pride kind of runs its way throughout this movie, and it kind of hits a emotional high during one of Fiona's tournaments. But you can even see outside the tournament that she has, her mother deals with pride. There is a theme in the movie where you see the mother, after losing some family and trying to make it on her own with her 4 children, she doesn't want to take handouts. She doesn't want to sell her body on the street, get a sugar daddy to make money. She is very proud of who she is and doesn't want to stoop down to any other level that's beneath how she sees herself. And others can see that as being prideful in a way where it's like, you're better than us. And I believe for her, it wasn't that. It was more so, I know my identity. I know my worth. And I'm not going to stoop down to something that is beneath me in terms of what is not worthy of me. I'm worthy of dignity and respect. And that's what I'm going to receive, as I'm going to give out. With Fiona, once she starts getting good at the game of chess, pride also hits her, because she now sees how, she's winning tournaments, she's seeing different places, learning new things, and the game seems to be kind of doing what she wanted it to do in terms of solving every one of her problems. But what she ends up doing now is becoming too proud in a way where she feels that she's better because of the game and because of her talent. She feels that she's not better than the things and people around her, that she's above her living situation, above what her family does. And so that becomes a problem, because she believes, again, nothing can touch her and nothing should touch her. And in this tournament I mentioned earlier, she ends up on the way there just saying, I'm gonna win, it's in the bag, I've got this, not even taking into account the fact that you may lose. That doesn't enter her mind. And so when she does that, she's no longer humble. She no longer comes into a game like, well, I just want to play, I want to be the greatest. She comes in saying, I'm already the best, and then nothing can touch me. And so when she ends up losing, spoiler alert, she loses this tournament, it breaks her down. And before I go on, guys, talk about how there's something about seeing a chocolate girl in the snow that just feels like refreshing, like a winter fresh, like stick of gum. It just feels like a fresh air. Anyway, she breaks down and she, has lost her mojo, because the foundation she was standing on wasn't solid. The scripture, of course, we all know, pride comes before the fall. Literally, this is her falling moment. And it's tough to watch, because you know she has talent, she was excited, but you also knew it was coming, because we all could see where this mindset was going to lead her. The scripture in particular that I think relates to this topic, though, is Proverbs 29 and 23. That says, pride ends in humiliation, while humility brings honor. And you see that change in her after this moment. That yes, she was humiliated, because on a grand stage, people could see and hear her loss, nationally, internationally even. And you saw the humiliation, and you saw how it affected her. She didn't want to play the game anymore. But as her teachers start to speak into her, as certain life experiences begin to happen, as she matures, she ends up going back to another tournament later on, and she is much more humble now. She is not going in saying, I'm going to win like I have in the bag. She's saying, there's a possibility I might lose, but I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to play. The lesson she learns here is that
losing does not mean you're a failure.
she learns that every time she loses, it teaches her how to get better, how to play the game better. And so she's going to play. Regardless of winning or losing, the goal is to play the game. And I think that is an amazing lesson. And she ends up winning because, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. I think that that is an awesome lesson for anybody who deals with suffering, deals with loss, and deals with humiliation because of that. That the goal, yes, is to win, but it shouldn't deter you from playing the game if you lose. Losing is just as much a part of life as winning. Both are going to happen, but your position shouldn't be, if I don't win, it's not worth it. Your position should be, whether I win or lose, playing the game is worth the effort. And so I think that that was awesome, and it hit home. They nailed it with the ending of the story. I think they really nailed that lesson. They nailed that part of the story as well. I really enjoyed this film. There are lots of things I didn't touch on, such as the acting was superb. I mean, the cast here was really solid. The directing, I think, was very grounded. I think that she really did a really good job just with planting the audience in the scenes in Africa, in the scenes with Fiona and her family. Even whenever it came to a scene where the teammates were going to a college for the first time after being in the slums, and you see all the reactions and moments are taken to really sit us in how they are feeling being in this new environment. It's really good work in knowing and pulling your audience in. I think it's really good stuff. But yeah, I love this film. I love the story. I love the setting. I mean, I've been to Africa only once, and I got this really cool dashiki, not shirt. I'm gonna say that right. It's a dashiki. But anyway, this was an amazing film. I really enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it, please take a look at it. Yeah, but until next time, peace and deuces.